Making his way toward the speedway now from Colorado Springs, Colorado, with the Lamb Excavating at Dirt Perfect Diamond Equipment Skills USA Ground to Glory number 77. It's Jeff Dodge. Jeff Dodge in car number 77.
All right, so it's time to get ready to go to the Dirt Oval 66, I believe is what they call it, in Joliet, Illinois. It's like a 4/10 of a mile oval, but I've never raced there. We don't have any notes on it. And one of the most important things in sprint car racing is the gear ratio. So depending on the size and shape of the racetrack, we have to, excuse me, change gears so that we can optimize the engine for each different racetrack. So you're gonna run a higher gear on a big fast half-mile racetrack and a lower gear on a little tight quarter mile. So obviously the higher gear is gonna give you more top end speed, and the lower gear is gonna give you more acceleration and RPM. So anyway, when we haven't been to a racetrack before, we've got to pick a gear ratio that we think is going to be close, because we only get like 3 laps of practice in one session, and then we do the 2 most important laps of the night. So it's really important that you unload for practice, or hot laps like we call it, fairly close. Otherwise, if your gear's way off, you're not going to learn anything. So this is our rear end. Inside this area here are 2 gears, because a sprint car only has 1 gear. You're either in gear or out of gear. So there's no shifting, there's no first, second, third, none of that. It's just high gear and that's it. So we have 2 gears that live in the back here that set the ratio for our final drive, basically. We're gonna show you all that tonight, but first, we got to go do a little research so that we have something to compare our notes to and try to select the right gear for the Dirt Oval 66. I'll get that eventually, maybe. The first thing that we're going to do when we go to a track that we haven't been to before to figure out what gear we're going to run is I like to compare them on Google Earth. So we're getting ready to go to the Dirt Oval 66 at Joliet. And what I do is I use the measure tool. We're going to measure it end to end. It is 931 feet long. And then we're going to measure how wide it is. 530 feet across, 537 feet across, and then just for good measure, we'll take a measurement of the straightaway, kind of from the midpoint to the midpoint. It's about a 500-foot straightaway. Now, let's go to some places that we've been so we can compare. First stop will be the dirt track at Charlotte, which obviously we're getting ready to go there again. Charlotte is 875 feet long, and then we'll measure across. $534 feet across, so it's about the same distance across. Get a straightaway measurement roughly. Charlotte has about 410 foot straightaway. So that's given us an idea. The other place I want to go check out and compare with is I-96 Speedway in Lake Odessa, Michigan. This is Nick's home track, I guess you'd say, from right down the road. Now, I believe they've changed this track in the last couple years. We were there for sure in 2022, so we'll use the 2022 satellite image. I-96, 845 long. It's kind of a weird shape. It doesn't seem quite that weird at the track. We're going to measure the wider end down toward 1 and 2. It's about 500 feet across, and then a straightaway measurement. It's about a 463 foot straightaway. So now that I've got some notes on 3 places that are kind of similar-ish, I think, to what Joliet is, we can go look at our notes and kind of adjust based on the gears that we've run at those places accordingly. All right, so we're out in the trailer. We're gonna select a gear. We've got our notes that we took on these different racetracks. So the first thing I like to do when I'm picking a gear for a place I've never gone before is just look at what gear ratios I ran at other racetracks that we can kind of compare it to. So we compared it to Charlotte and we compared it to I-96. So here's the trusty Jeff Dodge Racing notebook, and here are my very old rude crude notes from 2021. We went with the All-Stars to I-96, and it looks like we ran a 568. We ran pretty good that night, and it looks like we went back with the All-Stars at I-96 in 22, and we were 4th quick in hot laps, qualified 10th, ran 5th in our heat, and kind of sucked and ran 20th in the feature. But it also looks like we ran that same gear, which was like the 568. So then we can look at Charlotte. I've got new note sheets for last year that we've kept running. We're not always real good about filling them out, but we got lots of information we can take. So Thursday at Charlotte, the qualifying program, it looks like round 1 we ran a 535 gear. Second round of qualifying, we went to a 548, and I know we qualified better in the second one. Looks like the first race night we stuck with the 548 and raced that. Basically, that tells me that Charlotte is probably a 548 racetrack. I'm guessing 35 didn't pull quite good enough for us since we changed between round 1 and round 2 qualifying. Compared to Charlotte, we got about 60 feet longer straightaway at Joliet. They're very similar across, and the straightaway is a little bit more prominent at the dirt oval, but that's kind of a hard measurement to have absolutely apples to apples. And then I-96 is 100 feet shorter and about 30 feet less across. So I'm thinking that for Joliet, a 535 is probably going to be where we want to start. Yeah, I'd say probably we'll run the 535 to get started. So come down here, get in our gear closet, take our gear charts here, and we got this set 20, which is a 535, and it looks like we also have a 541, and then below the 535 we go to a 526. So I'm going to grab the 41, the 26, and the 35. So how do you change gears in a sprint car? Glad you asked. Really, you can do it with 2 tools, a 9/16 wrench and a jack. well, 3 tools if you consider the gear change pan a tool. So we'll grab our gear change pan off the donkey. Pins in there. Throw it under that rear cover. Then we'll get our jack. I guess really you don't need a jack. You can crawl around on the floor and do it. And we'll jack it up under the heel bar just to drop the rear end down a little bit and make things easier to get to. I am going to cheat a little bit and use my trusty Milwaukee ratcheting socket. Set them on the tire. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I've changed gears since we've been to the racetrack. Thanks, Maverick Series. Getting lots of practice. So you can set the gears on the rear bumper like that. Nice spot to keep them up out of the dirt. So, gear change. You take these 9/16 castle nuts off the back. Make sure the car's out of gear. It is. See a little grease starting to come out. This top one is always a problem, so we'll use our 9-iron ratcheting wrench. Oh no! Thankfully it didn't fall in the pan. So then we just ease the rear cover off. You can actually stick it on these outer 2 studs. Pull the gear out. Take our new gear. There's numbers stamped on these things. You always put the numbers facing out. Put your bottom gear on first. Since we're in neutral, you can spin it. Grab your top gear. Line the teeth up. Give her a little rotate back and forth. Grab our gear cover. Stick it back on. Get a nut on. Should have probably grabbed a rag. Act like it's my first time. Go chase the part that flew away. (9/16) ratcheting wrench. Give them a snug. One round of just to make sure we didn't miss one, and we're good to go. So now I'm gonna wipe these gears off. Some guys like to spray them down with brake clean, but then I find they kind of rust in the cabinet, so I usually just wipe the big bulk grease off and call it good. So then gotta put some grease back in it. Grab my custom funnel here. I'll put you guys back on the tripod for this. So here is our fill plug, and there's our level plug. So 9/16. Try not to knock the camera around because it's sitting right where I would normally stand. Take our fill funnel. This guy has a screen in it so that dirt and chunkies at the racetrack that fall off the car don't get in the grease. And we just pour it back in because, well, we haven't raced, so no need to change it. And it flows a lot quicker at the racetrack when things are hot. So she's draining back in there. And then I put this shutoff on there so that in theory we don't make quite as big a mess when we pull it out. Put our fill plug back in, at least finger tight. Quick check before we clean the pan on our fill plug. I'm gonna drop the car back down so it's a little closer to normal. And you can see a little dribble of oil starting to come out, which means we've got enough in there. So that's how you change gears on a sprint car. We just changed from our Putnamville gear, which is like a 620 maybe, I'd have to look at the notebook to see exactly what I had in there because I don't remember. So we changed from like a 620 to a 535. So that's how you change the gear ratio to go from small little quarter mile to high speed intermediate track. Pretty easy. We might change gears several times over the course of a night as the track changes condition. Generally, you know, as the track slows down, you might go to a little lower gear, higher numbers. So more RPM, more acceleration, sets you up to be able to get shut down and slow down into the corner quicker and then have more oomph to get back going again. But for qualifying, usually you're trying to pull a little higher gear and sail it, get your momentum up. So you might ask, why did I grab 3 gear sets? Well, since we're going to a track we've never been to, we also grabbed this 541 and this 526. And so we'll carry on the donkey 2 sets of gears in those boxes so that we're ready for a quick change if necessary. So I'm gonna go grab our gears. I guess maybe it was a 618 gear at Putnamville. Not that it really matters, but you can get an idea. So this here is a 635 gear. So you see how small this is compared to this? It's because this gear's turning the big gear versus this one here, a lot closer to the same size. Big track, small track. The rear end has like a 4:11 ratio that's built in, and then we just have these little boxes to carry them. So that was a 635, here's a 627. And we're gonna put this 41 in there. 541. Grab our handy dandy Sharpie. I think we'll do purple this time. And a towel. And a shot of brake clean. Wipe our old numbers off. 541. That is a, we're set 22. Set 22. And then this is our, yeah, there we go, 4A. That makes more sense. Set 22. Throw our gears back on the donkey. And we're geared up for Joliet. So pretty simple, pretty quick, pretty easy. A lot of things on a sprint car are. So we'll definitely be showing you more stuff as we get ready this week. Probably do some stuff from work, do some stuff in the shop, and really want to bring you guys along. Like, this is an adventure. We're really excited to go. Thank you guys for watching, and we look forward to bringing you a lot more stuff. Please let us know in the comments what you want to see, what you liked, if you didn't like something, and if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so that you can stay up to date with this outlaw adventure. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Ground to Glory.